How a random Uber driver helped me realize I wasn't the villain in my own story. You ever meet someone completely random, someone you'll probably never see again, but they say something that changes how you see your entire life? That happened to me one night, sitting in the backseat of an Uber on a rainy street in Chicago. I thought I was the problem, the one who ruined everything. But a stranger made me realize maybe I was just too close to my own story to see the truth. It had been one of the worst weeks of my life. My long-term relationship had ended in a way that left me feeling like a monster. My ex told me I was emotionally unavailable and selfish, and by the time she walked out, I didn't even fight it. I just sat there, frozen. I didn't cry, didn't beg, didn't even say goodbye properly. I just watched her leave and convinced myself I deserved it. That night, I couldn't stay in the apartment. Every corner reminded me of her, so I booked an Uber and told myself I'd just drive around, anywhere but home. The car that pulled up was a black Camry, and the driver, mid-40s, calm voice, kind eyes, greeted me like he'd been expecting me all along. "Rough night?" he asked after about 5 minutes of silence. I laughed, that kind of hollow laugh you do when you're trying not to break down. You could say that. He didn't push, just nodded. But when we stopped at a red light, he looked at me through the rearview mirror and said, "You know, I've driven a lot of people who think they're the villain. None of them ever are." That hit harder than I expected. I asked him what he meant, and he said, "People who are truly bad, they don't question if they hurt someone. They don't stay up at night replaying everything. They just move on. If you're sitting in my car wondering if you're the villain, you probably aren't." I told him about the breakup, how I never seemed to be enough, how I'd been accused of not showing emotions, of shutting down during arguments. He listened the whole time, didn't interrupt. Then he said something that's been living rent-free in my head ever since. "Maybe you weren't emotionless. Maybe you were just tired of having to prove you cared." There's a big difference. For the first time in months, I felt seen, because he was right. I did care. I just didn't know how to show it the way my ex wanted. And instead of realizing we loved differently, I took all the blame. I made myself the villain because it was easier than admitting we were just incompatible. When we got to my stop, I thanked him. He smiled and said, "Everyone's the villain in someone else's story. Don't forget you get to write your own." The app said trip complete, but honestly, it felt more like a reset button on my life. I never saw that driver again. But every time I start blaming myself for things I can't control, I remember his words. Sometimes you're not the villain. You're just the narrator learning to tell the story from a new angle.